Now that we have finished the fuselage component and also the wing component of the aircraft, we can now proceed on creating this section right here, or the tail ECM equipment bay section. But before we proceed again, let me show you the 3D model that we have, just to have an idea how we did this 3D surface right here. So this is also made up of a few sketches, and what I would tell you is the method and also the tools used on creating this 3D surface right here is also the same as how we created the fuselage component of the aircraft. And now that we have that in mind, let us again proceed on our workspace. So again, I'll create by creating a new sketch again. So I'll create a sketch. I'll select this face right here, and then I need to project again this 3D body. So I'll press P on my keyboard. Since this is a 3D body, making sure our selection filter is set to bodies. Since that is already set, I'll just select this body right here and press OK. I don't need the fuselage and the wing component, so I'll just hide them. And now we could see again that we have the projected 3D body right here. Next is I'll create a line. I'll select the line tool. First point would be at the origin point. Second would be here. And then press the check mark once we are done. Before I proceed onto the next step, I'll just like to bring up something again. So remember when we are getting a canvas from the internet. So I have mentioned that getting this canvas, it is important not only that we have the clear blueprint or the clear canvas, but also it needs to have the dimension included on the blueprint or at the canvas. So why is that? So the reason is, well, we need to, since we are creating the aircraft, we want this to be as close or approximately close to the dimension of the aircraft. So if you would still remember, starting at this edge right here, or at the edge of the nose of this canvas, up until here, that is measured on the canvas that we have, that is measured as 19.2 meters. But since, remember that also at the first part of the video, this is converted into millimeters, 19.2 meters is 19,200 millimeters. So how I would do it is, I'll create again a line, or I'll offset this line until here, and that's going to be 19,200 millimeters. So I'll select this offset tool, I'll select this line, I'll drag this, or instead, let me just enter the specific distance. So that's going to be 19,200 millimeters. And then I'll press OK once we are done. And now that so now we can see that we have the line here, and we have offset the line at a distance of 19,200 to here. Next is we'll convert these two lines into a construction line. So I'll select this line, then convert to construction line, and same as here as well. Next, what I'll be using is, I'll be creating we'll be tracing this outline of this section right here using again a fit point spline. So I'll select the fit point spline. I'll select the first point here, so 1. Second point would be here at the construction line, or at the construction line that we have offset. So make sure that this is snapped here, since we want this to be as close to the dimension of 19,200 So I'll snap it here, and then maybe just right around here. So 2, and then third point would be right around here. So 3. And then press the check mark once you are done. Press escape to exit the tool. And now what I have to do now is I'll I'll move this tangent handle, the second tangent handle. So we have here the first tangent handle, which is 1, 2, and then 3. But I'll move the second tangent handle first so that it would be close to being parallel on the vertical line. So I'll select this point here, press M on my keyboard, and then I'll move this as close as to being parallel to being a vertical line. That's okay. And then what I'll do next is I'll put a constraint here. So I'll select the horizontal or vertical constraint, and then I'll select this tangent handle right here. There we go. Next is, if you're not happy with this, you could also adjust the tangent handle or our first tangent handle so that it could get to approximately at this outline right here. So I'll select this point. Oh, sorry, because the constraint is still active, I'll just undo this. Let me undo this. Okay, there you go. Let me redo that again. So I'll select this point, I'll press M on my keyboard, and then I'll move it just a little bit just to match the outline of the canvas right here. Okay, that's okay for me. I'll just press OK here. And then at the third tangent handle, I'll also move it just a little bit to match the outline here as well. So I'll select this point, press M on my keyboard, and then maybe just a little bit, not too much. I think that's okay for me. So there you go. So now that we have the side sketch or the side profile for this section right here. Before I finish this sketch, I also forgot one thing. So we need again to create again a construction line. So I'll create again a line here. I'll select at this point where our fit point spline ended. So it's right here. So 1, and then 2. And then I'll press the check mark once I'm done. Press escape on my keyboard to exit the tool. And then one thing again, since if we're gonna be imagining this shape right here, for me, I'd like to make an excess so that later on when we trim this 3D body, this would um this would look like a flush, or the section right here is like flushed to the body, or it's like seamless when you look at the body. So for me, my technique here is that I'll extend this fit point spline that we have created. So again, I'll go here at the modify tool. The modify drop down menu. Then I'll select the extend. Then I'll extend this. I'll extend this, the line that we also created, so that it would close the shape here. So there you go. Press escape on my keyboard. Don't worry about this. Later on, yes, you would see that the body, once we have created this into a 3D body, you would see that there would be an excess. But again, what I want to do here is, because I do want to create an excess, I want it to be completely flushed later on when we trim the body. And the next step is finding the midpoint of the line that we created here. Again, to do that, we'll go at the create drop-down menu. I'll select point. I'll just snap here and hover around here until I get the midpoint. So there you go. You would see that it is already at the midpoint since our crosshair has the triangle beside it. So I know that's the midpoint. And then I'll create a line here. So 1 and then 2. Press the check mark and then I'll trim the excess here. Press escape on your keyboard once you are done. And we'll now, I'm sorry, so I forgot to also convert this into a construction line. And also this. And now we could finish the sketch here. Okay, for our next step, we'll create again a plane at an angle from this construction line. So I'll select this construction line. I'll go here at the construct tool and select plane at an angle. Okay, so I don't need to rotate this plane anymore since this is the correct angle for me. So I'll just press OK. And then I'll start by creating a sketch here from the plane that we just have created. I'll select the plane and create a sketch. Let me hide the canvas first. And then I'll create an ellipse again. So from the create drop-down menu, I'll select the ellipse. So I'll start from this point. So at the midpoint of the construction line. So 1, second would be here, so 2. And then let me unhide the canvas and use the view cube to go at the top view, and we'll estimately or roughly get the shape or the outline right here. So maybe just around here. Press escape on your keyboard once you are done using the tool. And for me, I'm happy with this. So what I'm just trying to do here is at the top view of the tail ECM section is I just want to get as close as to the edge right here, or at the outline right here. Let me just hide these sketches, you might not see it, but what I'm trying to get here is this outline right here. Don't worry about it just yet. You may seem that, or it may seem that we have a lot of excess here. But like I've told you, I did intentionally put an excess here because we will trim later on the body, and you would see that once we have trimmed it, the excess, because the excess is sloping down right here. Once we trim this, you would see that this would approximately get the outline right here. So no need to worry about that for now. Okay, and then we're almost done here. So I just finished the sketch. Next, our last sketch will be creating again a plane at an angle at this construction line. So I'll select this construction line first. Under construct drop-down menu, select plane at an angle, and then I don't need to put a specified degrees here since this is the correct angle for our plane. So I'll just go ahead and press OK. I'll select this plane right here, create a sketch. Let me just rotate the view since I could not see this. So here. So for me, I would not use the project intersect tool because I already have the points where I would snap the fit point spline. So we only use the project intersect tool if we don't have the lines or the points ready yet. But since here in this case, we already have this ready here, what we just have to do now is snap those points to create the fit point spline. So I don't need to make them. So what if, for example, since we already know how to use the project intersect tool, so if only, for example, you have created a construction line here and also created a construction plane here, and you don't have the points ready yet here, you could always use the project intersect tool so that you would get where the plane intersects at that point of the sketch. And again, since we have it here, we don't need to use them already. So I'll just go straight in using the fit point spline. And I'll select the first point here, second point here, third point here, and then close it again at our origin or at our starting point. Press escape on my keyboard to exit the tool. And what I have to do now is at these three tangent handles, I'll just put a constraint, so that's gonna be horizontal or vertical constraint. And then select this 1, 2, and then 3. And actually this doesn't look quite good, so maybe I'll just undo all the constraints. So sometimes again, this is a trial and error, so we'll just leave it as it is. So at this shape right here, that's okay for me. And then I'll finish the sketch. And now that we have this, we can now, or now that we have these sketches ready, we can now create the, we can now start creating the loft so that we could have the 3D surface already. Now that we have already these sketches ready here, I'll start first by creating a patch from this shape right here. So I'll select the patch tool. I'll select this shape right here, or the ellipse, and then press OK. And then next is I'll split this body, since if we try to loft it immediately, you would see here, I'll use the create tool, I'll select loft, and you would see here that the entire shape is being selected. So what we need first is split this patched shape first, in order for us to loft this into three different sections, or sorry, into three individual sections. So I'll just hit cancel. And then what I do need to do here first, after we have patched it, is we need to go here at this solid and then split body. Body to be split, we'll select this, and then splitting tool, I'll just zoom out, and we could see here that I'll be using this face right here. And then press OK. Now we could see, or we could now start creating the loft, since I'll show you, because we have now the three individual profiles or sections right here. So 1, 2, and then 3. So I'll go again at the surface tool, select loft tool. So profile, first profile would be here, 1, second would be here, 2. Let me just rotate the view, and then third profile would be here. Don't press OK just yet, because we have created this. This would serve as our rail. So I'll select here, and then I'll select this rail right here. And now we could finish or end this loft right here. So press OK. So there we have it. And also notice that the surface right here is not at the right view, or the view is like reversed. So how I would do it is I'll select this shape first, and then under modify tool, I'll select reverse normal, and then press OK. So you would see also that the proper view or the color is I don't know what the specific color before we use the reverse normal tool, but you would see here that it's already silver. So now we could unhide the bodies right here, and now this shape is making sense right now. So if I unhide the canvas, and we'll visually inspect this if our 3D surface that we have created is matching the outlines of the canvas. So again, this is always an important reminder. So always make sure that after creating a 3D surface, inspect it at the different views of the canvas. So from the side view, this looks just okay. From the top view, okay as well. And then from the front view, well, you wouldn't see it clearly here, so that's okay as well. And there we have it. So now we have the tail ECM equipment bay section. Again, before I close this video, we can now proceed on organizing the sketches, the construction planes, and the bodies as well into their respective components. So here, left click on this one, I'll select new component, and then I'll name this as tail ECM equipment bay. Let me I'll just uncheck the activate. I don't need to activate it just yet, and then press OK. What I have to do now is, well, I already told you the shortcut from it so that you don't have to individually go on these components right here. So you just go ahead, or straight go ahead to the sketches that you have used. And these sketches that I have used is sketch 24, 25, and 26 only. So I'll select these three and then drag and drop them here. And you would see, since the bodies and also the planes are created from the sketch, it automatically, or Fusion 360 automatically detects that the bodies and the construction planes is on this specific component, or the tail ECM equipment bay. So now they are already here. Okay, so there we have it. Next is we'll be creating the horizontal stabilizer. So since we're familiar again with how we created the wing section, this is also gonna be similar, but don't worry, I'll still be creating a video on that. And also I'll include the creating this part as well, the vertical stabilizer. So the same as well also on the wing section. So they are just both the same.